NHL 98. Welcome back to another great Ab Nation and Hockey Nation live show on the great Sunday night, July 14, 2024. Hopefully an amazing, great summer so far. And you're looking forward to talking about your favorite team, the Montreal Canadiens tonight. We're going to have a lot of questions for you guys to answer if you have any question. And also we're going to talk about fun news like around the Montreal Canadiens. Couple of news around the NHL. This is the quiet time in NHL at the second week of July, third week. Why? Because most of the people on vacation. Yes, there are some news left and right, but not major trade or big signature or something huge around the team. It's a little bit quiet. We have a couple of news. You can see below my graphic what happening around the league. Most are the entry-level contract or different low contract players to join a specific team. So that's pretty much what's going on. But we have a lot of things to talk about tonight. We are back on the live streaming. We took a couple of days off. You're off, coach? No, not honestly. I create 2 videos per day, Thursday, Friday, one Saturday, one Sunday. And I'm going to talk about my video during the night tonight, talking about the top 10 prospect Montreal Canadiens, my pyramid of Montreal Canadiens. And tonight, I'm going to talk about Martin Saint-Louis. We saw him during the weekend. Our people work for us around the world. And they look like Martin Saint-Louis is not happy. But why he is not happy? But that's going to talk about this tonight. And we're going to have a debate. How you can have a debate, coach, you alone. Oh, no. The Sunday night, we are not alone. We have something specific, one person. We call him the legend. We call him the greatness. Because what he brings on the table, no one can do that. Ladies and gentlemen, let's further ado to welcome back in the house of the Hockey Nation.
Do you think you're better off alone?
Mr. Introductory is back in the house tonight.
You never cease to amaze, Coach. Welcome. It's great to be here again with all of Hockey Nation, of course, with you, Coach. Are we ready to talk some Habs tonight?
We are definitely talking about the Habs, but before we start this on top, we have to welcome back Mr. Nicolas Dugobi-Bonneau. Welcome back, Nicolas. Nicolas, he was on the trip, petit voyage à la France, voir nos petits cousins en France. Ooh. Welcome back, Nicolas. J'espère que tu as passé un très beau voyage, toi et ta famille. Nicolas, if you don't know, guys, Nicolas is about 17 years old, I believe, Mr. Enortap, for that age area. But 4 years ago, almost 5 years, he was one on the start with the Hockey Nation. Since that, he's been with us like 90% all the time. Yeah. Whatever we turn the switch on, Nicolas Dugobi-Bonneau, guys, is with us. So he passed his teenager live with the Hockey Nation, Mr. Enortap. And those kind of people like that, they make a channel better every single day because they are the people come back every day. So just want to mention this. We are really like Nicolas, and you've really been really respectful in the chat. You like the technique sometimes, Zev Le Cave, or Luc Everson, mais on aime bien Mr. Nicolas. Donc, just open the door, Mr. Enortap with Nicolas. We have other people join us. We have already moderator Luciano, lucky one, following by Run with Kings, Run with 20. Is in the house tonight from Utah. By the way, Mr. Enortap, we're going to wish good luck and the best prayer thought Mr. Jose Duarte, another moderator of the Hockey Nation show, another member of the Hockey Nation, is going to be on the surgery tomorrow. So we wish the best, Jose, and hopefully everything will be better for you. And after that, so all the people will thinking about him. We're notre ami Harry. Harry, back in the house, Mr. Harry. J'espère qu'elle passe une très belle journée. Une très belle summer. Philippe Brand, welcome in the house. Athletic is in the house tonight. Welcome back. Thanks for being with us. Claude Richard, Gary Cournoyer is in the house. Cole, King of the Gamer, is in the house tonight. Richard Johnson is in the house. And we have Roy from Bangkok in Thailand is in the house tonight. We have Jean Druid in the house. Welcome back. Also in our top end, the Shucks is in the house. So everybody is in the house. Don't forget, please click on the likes. That would be the best thing you can do for helping. And then sharing the subscriber of the channel. We try to create more people around us. More people, we're on the chat. Better, we're going to be a better show because the conversation you create every single time. Mr. Inartap, tonight, what we got? Martin Saint-Louis not happy, Mr. Inartap. We'll talk about him the next couple of minutes. We're going to see with the reason behind that, Mr. Inartap. Following, guys, if you follow my video every single day, I produce 1 or 2 videos about the Montreal Canadiens. I talk about my pyramid. Where are they? What kind of player they can become in NHL? Mr. Nathan is going to give us a little bit his opinion about that one. And then I create also my top 10 prospect Montreal Canadiens. We're going to talk about this tonight. So that's what we got so far, Mr. Nathan, on this conversation we got together. And also, Mr. Nathan, we have tonight a debate between you and me about if the Montreal Canadiens should trade or not. And you're going to give us the reason behind that, and I'm going to give you the reason why I believe they should or should not. So stay tuned, guys. It's going to be at the middle of the show. And if you have any question, put a little queue. Unfortunately, we don't answer your question right away, but we're going to answer to you at some point your question. So hopefully you're doing well. Mr. Patrick Lavoie, Mr. Martin, and Mr. Inartap is in the house tonight. He go with Argentina tonight, 2.25. And notre ami Régent, directly from British Columbia, is in the house. So we talk about the moderator, Jose. He's in the house, Mr. Inartap. So glad to see him in the house tonight. Demidov will be a top-line winger and the future Athletic. You nailed it, Mr. Athletic. I agree with you. And we have someone's called the demigod. I like that one over there. It was Philippe demigod about Ivan Demidov. Still, the vibe, Mr. Inartap, of Demidov is still alive everywhere around the Montreal Canadiens organization. The hockey fans are really excited to see Evan Demidov. But before I talk about Montreal Canadiens, we'll do a tour about an NHL. We don't have a lot of news. It's very quiet, like I mentioned to you at the beginning of the show, Mr. Antap. But I want to share with you what's going on with 3 news, and maybe you can tell us what you think. And then below us, you can see at the bottom, you can see all the news around the new signature the last 3 days. Nothing major. Most of them are entry-level contract, or they are players, could be American Hockey League, or maybe play bubble in NHL. It's fun team. But Mr. Tap, the first news is the Canada Hurricane. Martin Necas always been on the news since the end of the season. It's possible to be traded in Boston, Montreal, Calgary, everywhere around the league. But look like now he's going to get a long-term contract by the Canada Hurricanes. So I don't know if you heard about this. If you heard, maybe tell us what's going on with Martin Necas for the Canada Hurricane.
Yeah, of course that's been rumored lately as well, Coach. That they're looking to sign. I mean, when you look at it from a bottom line perspective, I think it's a player that they always wanted to keep. There was some discussion because in the conversation has also come some rumors about Seth Jarvis possibly moving as well, and that's a possibility. But again, they're just rumors. I don't necessarily like to bite on those unless there's some substance to it. And I don't see that becoming very prudent in Carolina's perspective. Now, Nate Chess, I think if they can wrap their brain around the fact that they want him to have increased ice time, they'll give him that power play time, they'll give him second line duties predominantly. Then I think that's where he wants to stay as well. I think his biggest beef was just the fact that he wasn't being utilized to the extent to which he could help the team. And so that's why I think he was looking perhaps to get out. But I mean, we'll have to wait and see in terms of where this goes. Right now, again, it's just rumored that there might be a contract on the table, but we'll see. We'll see how things develop.
Yes, absolutely right about this. The reason behind that also, take a note, everybody, the Canada lost Jake Guanzel. That's the first one. You have free signed
Yeah,
contract with Tampa Bay Lightning. They also lost Teravainen to the Chicago Blackhawks.
Teravainen.
So that opened up,
So
Mr.
that's
Nostap, two big top six all over
top
there.
six.
And
Yeah.
if you lose now Nick Chess, the Canada Hurricanes are already a team, or maybe on the downside of what they did over the last couple of years with the new, with a new change, general manager, Robert Dario come back, but still have a lot of red flag over there to concern for the upcoming season, what kind of season Kokanemi is going to be. And then we don't talk about they lost Pesce, they lost Sekech. I know D'Angelo is not a big deal, but again, still, they have to rebuild the D. And finally, the goaltender is another big question mark with the Anderson and then, of course, Kachikov, the goaltender. So we'll be interested what the Canada Hurricanes is going to do, but it's possible Martin is going to be out of the trade bait the next couple of days. Don't be surprised signing a 7-8 years contract with Introductory at $7.5 million. That would be my direction for Martin Lichess.
I think that's what he's looking for as well. Hey, welcome to Jonathan.
There you go.
Thank you for joining us. Yeah, I think if he can command that kind of money with Carolina, he'll be more than happy. And as you said, they lost two top six players. They also lost their second pairing defensively, as you mentioned. The goaltending hasn't been as strong as it has been in the past. So there's areas here of worry, and so maybe it looks like Carolina has rethought the whole thing and arrange that they'll give him what he was initially looking for.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. One thing about the captain, the Canada Avalanche, did not play the last year with a really bad injury on the knee, and looked like he looking to play this year. And we'll see what happened about this. But is this a really good news for the Canada Avalanche? Again, with the departure of strength players and also the situation with Valerie Nikushkin, their top six, forward is not the same anymore, and they struggle with the salary cap. They have to make some adjustment. They try to find a way to come the bounce back, and they win the Stanley Cup. It's not easy, Mr. Top, to keep the same lineup because the salary cap restriction they have the last couple of years, and sometimes you have to make some choice. So the performance at Jeff the last year was not very good also. So Colorado Avalanche will try to stay on the top of the NHL and welcome back, and not only on the ice, the way he play, but also his leadership he bring on the table on and off ice, the captain of the Colorado Avalanche. So what do you think about that situation, and what do you feel about Colorado Avalanche for the upcoming year?
It's going to be a tough year. I still predict that they'll obviously make the playoffs, but I don't necessarily see them in either first or second, just because right now, as they're structured, the money is a problem right away. And the second fact is you got Landeskog here. You don't know what's happening with Nikushkin as well. He's still in the assistant program. It's I mean, it's not an easy player to have out of your lineup, Landeskog. I mean, this guy was a captain. He was a leader. Got critical goals at key times for the team, and it's difficult to see him really coming back from this. But I mean, if anybody can, it's him. I know he tried. He was skating last year for a while, and things looked to be okay, but they were progressing slowly, and that was a key concern. And then towards the end of the year, I think he had called upon a press conference, and from the outside looking in, it looked like he might be resigning and quitting hockey at that point.
I think we're losing Mr. Tap. Are you still there, Mr. Introductory? Maybe you have some problem, Mr. Introductory. Maybe be right back with us. Try to figure out what's going on left and right. And let me check here. Mr. Introductory, you have to resign maybe, if you don't mind, to come back. He was talking about the color of Avalanche. Try to helping him here and figure out that. It's not a big deal. Not a big deal. We have everything covered up. Once someone disappears, I can come back here talking about what's going on. He was talking about the color of Avalanche, honestly. We'll see what happened with the captain, the color of Avalanche. My last news of the NHL, guys, about the Columbus Blue Jacket. And the Columbus Blue Jacket, they are still looking for the coach. The good news for them, they are only the only team that does not have head coach right now. And they shrank the candidate at 2. One of them, both of them was fired last year. The Minnesota Wild, Dean Everson, and of course, Jay Woodcroft of the Edmonton Oilers. I expect that decision will be announced the next couple of days. Both of them are going to traveling to Columbus Blue Jacket to have another meeting, the final meeting, and the Columbus are going to select their head coach after they fire Pascal Vincent. We know the new general manager, Dan Weldell, is now in charge about the team with the president, John Davidson. So another Columbus Blue Jacket where they are a little bit concerned about the situation over there. They still have to figure out the situation with Patrick Laney. That's the first one over there. That situation is not easy to find if they're going to trade him or not. And then, of course, they draft, Linkstrom, Fenderly, have an injury last year, going to returning in the lineup. Another team is a little bit under rebuild retools, have a 2 bad years back to back. We'll see what they look like. But again, this other team is going to be at the bottom of the Metropolitan Division. So, Mr. Introductory, I was just talking about the Columbus Blue Jacket, the head coach situation. If you're thinking which one you think they're going to get, is it Evanson or Woodcroft? Welcome back.
It indications look like it might be Evanson, to be totally honest with you, but I could see them going either direction. I think they both bring something to the game that is more preferable for the younger players. It's going to be another tough year for Columbus. I know that they had some key injuries last year, and some players underperformed, as we know. But it's not. They're still nowhere near the level that is needed to compete on a consistent basis with the rest of the league, or at least the teams that are in that conference, on the Eastern Conference. So it's going to be tough, and it's a situation that will get better because they drafted some very good players over the last couple of years, and I think that'll come in and augment the situation a little bit and help them out. But for now, it doesn't look very strong.
Yeah, absolutely about that. Hopefully, the internet will be better for all of you. You Enortap have some kind of power problem all day, and here and tail end the raining season. It's not easy but we're going to try to survive that one, Mr. Enortap, if it's okay.
Yeah, we'll do. That's great. That's
and
great.
it's a reminder, Mr. Enortap, we cannot skip that one.
I know.
Kotkaniemi could be
your
traded
favorite
to the Calgary
player.
Flame. I would like to hear from the people in the chat. Do you think it will be a good asset? Another team, Mr. Enortap, is navigate between the wave where they don't know they should go up or they go down. The Flame, they don't want to rebuild completely, but they don't want to they still retooling. They keep a couple of players like Anderson, Huberdeau, Kadri, right? Coleman, Cherikovich. But they lost Max Rum in the back. They lost Danev and Anifin defenseman. They lost Lingholm, and they add more assets around the team. As a team, Montreal Canadiens have the first round pick of the Calgary Flames in 2025, but obviously is on the condition top 10. So do you think it will be a good fit for Kotkaniemi, or do you think the Canadiens are going to trade or not trade? And after that, guys, we'll talk about the Montreal Canadiens. Stay tuned. Don't forget, please, to click on the likes.
Well, first of all, Coach, with the Flames, I mean, I think they're deluding themselves if they feel like this is just retooling, because it isn't. And Conroy has made it quite clear with the moves that he has made that they're trying to dismantle it a little bit. And yes, they're hanging on to a couple players, but I mean, look at the players that they're hanging on to. Obviously, Huberdeau was supposed to be the corner piece of the team when they made that trade with Florida, and he came over for Kachuk. Unfortunately, it hasn't translated to that. So then when he signed the long 8-year contract for the amount that he did, I mean, now it's a contract that's almost impossible to move. So of course they're going to just hope that he can sort of retrieve his scoring touch that he had with Florida, and maybe if he gets the right players as well, it could help him. But I don't see those 100-point seasons for him. I really believe that it's something that he'll improve, but it'll be a much more adjusted value that he'll have here in Calgary. I don't think Conroy is. I mean, he might pick up Kakaniemi. I just think if they're trying to rebuild, how does that fit into their long term plans? Right. I know he's still relatively young, Kakaniemi, and he can bring some depth down the middle, of course. But it's I don't think it's the kind of player that you want to necessarily build around, especially what we've seen now that he's been on 2 different teams. It's not something that will seal their fate in terms of bringing them the next level up. So I don't know if it happens, it's good for the time being, but it's not something that fits into the long range terms for me.
Yep, sorry about that one over there. About this, thinking about this, Monsieur Nathan, Monsieur Kokanemi, that
Your
reflect
favorite.
my. I did a question every day, Monsieur Nathan, at 10 o'clock p.m. I make a question live about the Montreal Canadiens, and tonight. When I see the news about Kokanemi, the lights turn on my lights, and I said, I'm working, by the way, guys, on the NHL draft Montreal Canadiens in the last 25 years. I'm doing a very deep searching Montreal Canadiens draft picks, and I want to show to you the time with Trevor Timmins and everything. So I'm going to put that video maybe the next 3 days. It took me a couple hours for that. So when I look about this, Mr. Tap, my poll question tonight is going to hurt. It's going to hurt Montreal Canadiens fans. Hopefully, they're going to give us their answer. Welcome, everybody, by the way. Thanks to join us tonight. Don't forget, guys, that we have another show, Montreal Canadiens, Wednesday night. And we have a special guest, Gregory Lemay. And Marco Larbi is going to be with us talking about with Gregory and talk about the Montreal Canadiens. So Wednesday night, 8:30 until 10 o'clock. And Mr. Tab, the poll question, I want to get your answer, the people in the chat. I think it's a fun one, but it's a difficult one to read, Mr. Natap. If the Canadiens could switch one NHL selection, Mr. Natap, which one you think it would be the one you were looking for? Can you give us your answer, Mr. Natap?
Of the ones you have there. So we have first option is Adam Kempe over Nikita Sherbak. Second one is Jake Ottinger over Ryan Paling. Brady Kachuk over Jesperi Kokaniemi, Shea Theodore over Michael McCarron, and the last one is Kreider over LeBlanc. And you've got some good ones there, Coach. I mean, the 2 that really stand out to me, I would say, would probably be the Brady Kachuk over Kokaniemi, just for what he brings to the game, and it's the kind of the leadership and the ability to score in key situations. His ruggedness, I really like that. Of course, having a good scorer, fantastic scorer like Chris Kreider would have been fantastic as well. As much as we all don't like Chris Kreider for what happened in the playoffs against our beloved Carey Price, it's a definite improvement improvement over what we had with Louis LeBlanc. So I'm kind of torn between those two, to be honest with you. But I'll go with the Brady Tkachuk over Kakanyemi.
Great point about that. Nothing wrong with all the section in the chat. Some people talk about Kachuk or Grader or Oettinger. When you look about them, they have two areas. If Montreal Canadiens select Grader over LeBlanc, if you think about Grader, when the Montreals go on the different path of the playoff on the between 2014 to 2020 example, right? 2020 example. To have Grader over LeBlanc, I think that would be a great asset. Today, what we talk about now, what's going on, to have a Brady Tkachuk over Kokanemi, the Montreal Canadiens vision or maybe the look like it would be really different than what they are right now. And I think you can not forget Jake Oettinger. To have a solid goaltender after Carey Price, but there will be another way in Montreal Canadiens after the injury of Carey Price to go there. Kempe and Theodore. Theodore is going to be one of the best defensemen for Montreal Canadiens, definitely. And sometimes there are no formula when you select any pick in an NHL. I really worked Mr. Introductory the last couple of days. I'll be honest, over 1 week about NHL draft sent 2,000 for the Montreal Canadiens and around the NHL other team. It's not easy. Everybody make a mistake, Mr. Introductory. You can say the Montreal did not select very well. They have not been very good. And honestly, I look and everybody, Boston, the pick 13, 14, 15. Islanders, Thompson and Ångström. Colorado, example, they select a player never play one game under Joe Sakic. Steve Yzerman did another pick with Detroit. The kid play only 37 games. And I can go every team. By the end of the day, you're going to realize during my next video about the Montreal Canadiens NHL draft, the selection overall is pretty good. And it go with the percentage of who you select between 1 to 5 or 1 to 10, 1 to 15, and then 15 to 20, and then 20 to 25, and 25 to 32. So I split all the bracket. I give percentage of the total of the successful team to make a good pick. It's rare they are down. Of course, you have the Yakusha, is it Yakupov for the Oilers? You have Puljujevi, example, Reinhardt with Islanders. You have always a pick. It does not work, honestly. But this is a part in general overall. So I don't want to pass our time about this, but I was just sharing with you the NHL draft, Montreal Canadiens. So I think it was a good question for this one.
Yeah, and it's a fair point you bring as well. I mean, I think it's becoming a little bit better now in that teams are a little bit wiser in terms of how to draft, and they're doing more of their due diligence in terms of interviewing these kids and getting into a lot of more of the understanding of the character, the mindset of the player, and so that helps in terms of the player they pick. But at the end of the day, there's no guarantee that they're going to become superstars. There's players that maybe will make the NHL, but they might not be as anticipated a first line player. They could turn out to be either a second line player or a role player, which is fine as well. But and sometimes you get those Cinderella stories that come out of the third or the fourth round and turn out to be the players that we've seen over the last 50, 60 years. They're just fantastic picks. So I think the key is to have that depth in your organization that does their homework and really goes to see these games and sees the players in person and gets to know the player as well.
Well said, Mr. Tap. We're going to start talking about Montreal Canadiens, and then don't forget the big subject is about the next 10-15 minutes about the Martin St. Louis, Mr. Tap. But I want to talk, we have another subscriber, Mr. Tap. Matthew Young is in the house. Welcome. Thanks so much.
Welcome, Matthew.
Don't forget, guys, click on the likes. I want to talk to Mr. Tap before Molson have to get Demidov right now. And I want to give us why the reason behind that. You have an article on the social media talking about the head coach of the CSKA in Russia. He's really struggling with the young players over there. He let play more the veteran players and their team. And I can go with Rottenbergkov, I believe his last name, and then you can talk about Michkov, and now happening with Demidov last year. So maybe Demidov is maybe not at the right position to be with the team for the upcoming season. I understand Montreal does not want to create some kind of the friction with Richard team, everything like that. But my question for the people in the chat: how much money are you willing to give to the CSKA to get Demidov tonight, Mr. Enortap? And what it would be the value of what Demidov bring in the pocket of George Molson if he give that kind of money tonight and for the upcoming season? So this is a question, Mr. Enortap, surprisingly you about this and the people in the chat that we know we are right now on the vibe of Evan Demidov. So give us a little bit what you think about that question.
Yeah, we read that article. Obviously, it made a lot of sense, and it's no secret that we're seeing that type of lack of development happening overseas. So it makes a lot of sense. What we don't know, of course, is what precedents will this set in terms of what amount of money that you lay on the table here. In terms of Molson, I think that he's got deep pockets. He can easily bring him over whatever the cost is, whether it's 1 million or 2 or 3 or even 4 million. I think he wouldn't blink twice about that because the benefits that you get out of bringing Demidov here, that money will be made up in ways that will surpass his dreams. Because just think of merchandising, right? The Demidov shirts that come out and all the different paraphernalia that comes out of it, the money that they make on that, and that's just from a monetary perspective. From a developmental perspective, of course, now you have them with you in the system, whether it's in Montreal or whether it's in Laval. You have a more direct pipeline to how you're going to develop the player, and so that makes a lot of sense to me to have him right in front of you, and with the coaches that will definitely help him develop along the lines that he's already going, and he's going to get the ice time. So that's another key thing, because if you're not playing a lot of time, a lot of minutes on the ice, I mean, that development is not going to occur. So for me, I wouldn't worry about what the price tag is. If anything, as a league, you have to worry about, again, the precedents that it sets, and then does it become something that teams are going to be doing on a consistent basis moving forwards? Because I think then we have to sort of question how business is conducted, to be fair. But as you can see, like, Demidov for us is going to be that elite player that we've been asking for the longest of time, and I would bring him over immediately.
Well said, Mr. Enortap. At the end of the day, I think he can bring over $5 million, maybe $10 million during at the beginning of the season. The excitement will be out of the chart, Mr. Enortap, and people will be crazy about him. And of course, we have to be realistic. Dimitar is not going to get already number of Kucherov right away at the beginning. Like, look what happened with Connor Bedard. You have to take a time about this. So at the end of the day, Mr. Enortap, you have to be a little bit more patient with Dimitar. But I think for what we are for the upcoming season, that's going to talk about this the next couple of minutes, the roster for the Montreal Canadiens. I think Demidov will bring some kind of excitement, hope, a little bit more patience for the Montreal Canadiens fans, Mr. Enortap, to be with the team for another year. And I think that would be calm down a little bit more the excitement about the fact, the impatience of the fans starting thinking that Montreal is going to make the playoff this year, or they're going to have a better year. So I think it'll be better that way if they can get him. Now, we don't know how this
Absolutely.
works. Honestly, they have no the formula yet. We don't know exactly how the Flyers get Michkov. I don't know how much money they buy. It's not like a buyout. It's not the right words to use. It's insensitive, maybe situation between both
Bribe.
teams.
It's a
But
bribe.
at the end of the day, I don't know. You have a X number to pay, and what would be the return for Molson and the pocket? That's what I see. That I think that it would be double more. Whatever they pay, $1, 2, 3, 4, $5 million, the CSKA, they would like to get that kind of money, Mr. Tap. They know he would disappear at the end of the year. Mr. Tap, the CSKA,
Yeah.
Demidov, and their lineup, he's not going to be on the top six over there. He's going to be maybe a four-line players, and maybe it would be L2 scratch. That's how the CSKA works for years.
Right.
For years.
Yeah.
So if you gave them X money dollars to them, that's a lot of rumble. That's a lot of vodka on the table, Mr. Tap, for the management.
Yeah, absolutely. It is, but and you have to worry about. I mean, not. I don't want to get into the whole political situation of this, but it's just the way they treat the players as well. It's unfortunate because as I said, it's going to present a situation where there's going to be teams that maybe down the road will not be able to afford the price tag that's attached to bringing a number one over. And so what does that mean both for the Russian hockey game, international hockey game, the players that want to come over? Are they going to be predominantly with, a certain percentage of the teams because those are the teams that actually have the deep pockets and it has nothing to do with the salary cap. So they can, push out that kind of money. They're all questions I think that need to be considered, but just to end it off with Demidov, I think it makes total sense to try to bring him over now, and I would even start him up in Montreal, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm sorry about this one, Mr. Tap. We're going to move on to the next news. Before that, Mr. Tap, Robert talked about how he is impressed by the mobility of Demidov. And when you make video, Mr. Tap, you cannot think in the morning. So what kind of video I can do? You have to preview. Like I have about 10, 12 different video already are set up to be ready for the next couple of days. They are not complete, but I still have the ID behind that. One of them is on top, a Mishkov versus Demidov. And this is going to be interesting. I cannot find out who is better yet, but I'm going to make that video the next couple of days. It's going to Mishkov is going to be remember always behind the name of Rebacker, and you're going to compare Mishkov versus Demidov for years and the futures. But I'm going to make a video about both of them, Chantal. But I want to talk about one subject before we talk about Martin Saint Louis in the next 3 minutes. I'm going to give you about 2 minutes, Chantal. The Montreal Canadiens are the youngest team in NHL. They are 23.2 years old, I believe. The Pittsburgh Penguins are the oldest one at 30.5, I believe, or 0.9. And after that, I'm going to talk about the Montreal Canadiens bottom five of the prediction of the Athletic on 2024, 2025. But first of all, that's what we got, Mr. Top, the youngest team in NHL for upcoming season. So what do you see for the Montreal Canadiens when you think about the youngest team?
Well, it's not by accident, right? I think a lot of it is by design. When we went through the whole rebuild situation, and we're still currently in. We're just in the next phase of it, as we've outlined many times before. It's great because that's exactly what you need, especially at the beginning. You need a core of players that come into the league together. They develop that chemistry. And they work towards having the proper winning ethic that they bring, and also that they eventually get to a stage when the time is right that you start to inject a team with some veteran help as well, and that's kind of the, I don't want to say the booklet to follow in terms, or the formula to follow to build a Stanley Cup winner, but it's definitely the right direction to go if you want to build a team that's going to be not only competitive, but will be in the race for many, many years, because what ends up happening is you'll be able to sustain the lineup as certain contracts and individuals you lose them off your balance book. You're able to either bring in a drafted player or a prospect that's ready to make the jump, and so you start the next wave, right? And so you sustain the team for many years, and we've seen it with a lot of teams, right? Like just look at the way Boston's conducted their business over the years. Um, we more recently have seen Tampa Bay go through that. Florida has gone through that stage, and they're teams that at the end of the day are always in the conversation as being one of the elite teams in the league, and that's hopefully the direction that will end up as well.
I'm sorry about that one. So that would bring my question. They expect the Montreal Canadiens to be at the bottom five again from the Atlantic. This is the roster we got, Mr. Introductory. And we have
Yeah.
Sakaski, Suzuki, Caulfield, and then we have, of course, a new hook with Kubidak. Joan Amia on the second line, following by Gallagher, Dvorak, and Joshua Roy. Then we have RHP, and then we have Anderson and Jake Evan, and the third forward is 13th forward is Pesada. And we know the defensive side, we have Madison, Savard, Coley, Jekai, Harris, Trouble, Barron, and possible Lane Hudson. Goaltender, Primo, and Montembeault. This is what we got, Mr. Natal, for 2024. So, what do you think about that roster? What do you feel about that? How can Montreal compete with that kind of roster?
Well, they can't, coach, but we have to keep in mind, and we have to be very patient here. It, like I said earlier, we're working towards bringing the team to a certain height and expectation, right? But this isn't what you see here right now. Is not necessarily the team that you're going to see in 2 to 3 years. You're going to see some of these contracts either being traded away or their contracts are expiring, and we're talking about guys like Dvorak this year, Evans, Armia, RHP. We don't know yet how that's going to go. Anderson, I know he has a longer contract with Gallagher as well, and it commands quite a bit, but maybe through various avenues they're able to shed those heavy contracts as well. Now, the only way you can do that, of course, is if you either have something in your pipeline to supplement the player that you're losing, and even if they're not necessarily in the right seat, as we see here, like there's a couple players that are definitely going to be playing out of their chair, in my perspective anyways. So of course we're not going to expect this. I don't anticipate this being a team that's going to threaten for a playoff spot this year. I think it's more realistic to say they're probably going to be a bottom 10 teams in the NHL in my eyes. I think that we'll still see some improvement, but that improvement will not necessarily, it may, but it might not necessarily translate to just points. There's so many other intangibles that come in along the way that show you that there has been improvement, right? Does Caulfield increase the number of goals that he scores this year? For this year, can Anderson bring his game level up a little bit higher? Slafkovsky and Suzuki, can they maintain the same pace that they did last year? And in Slafkovsky's case, be ready to take the next step up in terms of the points he gets. Can Kirby Dach stay healthy the whole year? And if he does, is he? I mean, we have to really evaluate: is he indeed our true number 2 center, or is he better suited on the wing? Depending on what we see and what we have in the pipeline or what we get via trade. So there's a lot of question marks still there, Coach, and I think that they'll be answered as we go along. But you do have to have that element of luck where people aren't getting injured, players aren't getting injured, and you're given that opportunity to properly evaluate them. Like unfortunately, because Doc, just to give you an example, but you could also say RHP and a couple of other players, because they missed. In Doc's case, he missed the whole season. I mean, he only played 4 periods in total. I don't even think there were 4 complete periods. We didn't have most of our questions answered. He looked very good. He had a good camp, and the year before when he came back as well, he looked very promising. But he hasn't put together a full season that he's played with the team, and that's what we need to see. Because if for whatever reason he's not the player that we anticipated, which I don't suspect is the case. But if that is the case, but you have to think of alternative plans to put in motion, and it will dictate what moves you make down the road, be it at trade deadline time, be it at the end of the year, whatever the case might be.
Yeah, absolutely about that one with Introductory. And the reason we talk about this one, because I have a purpose behind that, Introductory. Everything we do, we have something,
I know you do.
right? And the reason behind that, Introductory, is because Martin Zoe is not happy, Introductory.
Why
He's not
not,
very
Coach?
happy. You just mentioned the roster he has. Martin Zoe,
Yeah.
he been behind the bench, Introductory. You look in front of him, and you go from there to there, say, whoa, yeah. You look around, said, McDavid, okay, McDavid here, no, damn McDavid. He never have a great lineup. And Patrick talk again. He talk about Devil Rack, everything like that. Yeah, we patch up. We have old. We patch up a player there. We hope we get. By the end of the day, Mr. Tap, we are not a team ready to performing. And Martin St-Louis will have to have some help. Ken Hughes and Jeff Gordon said at the end of the year they would try to do something for the Montreal Canadiens to get a little bit more help for Martin St-Louis. So far, it did not happen, Mr. Tap. We did not get any UFA, a top 6 players, or at least a top 9 players can help in the Montreal Canadiens. Someone can hurt, everything like that. They are really limited. And for me, Martin St-Louis is not very happy about that situation. And I don't want to make this big things, but if you are the head coach of Introductory for 3 years now, you're going to start as a coach. You want to have something better in front of you. At least they compete with Introductory, but they still not, whatever they lose by 1 goal, and they have to be realistic with Introductory. They don't have that kind of lineup with Colorado and Toronto and Boston, everything like that. They are really inferior. And I think the fact they don't add anybody, that's struggling for Martin St-Louis to be happy for the upcoming season. So I just want to give you a little bit what's going on with Martin St-Louis. What do you think about this? What you feel about Martin St-Louis?
Look, in a general context, I would say I see the point you're trying to make, but I think when Martin St. Louis came into existence here in Montreal as the coach, he knew exactly what the deal was. Gordon and Hughes made sure that they were brought in for the right reasons as well, and that was to rebuild the team, right? So ask yourself, is he happier than he was last year? Maybe that's a more relevant types of question, right? Especially given the relative success that they had this year at the draft, like picking up guys like Hage and Demidov. Like one of the complaints we've had over the last couple of years has been, well, you know what, we're not going to go very far if we don't get that elite player. Now, of course, you can turn around right now and in the chat you can put, well, he's proven nothing. He hasn't played in the NHL. So how are we naming Demidov an elite player? Well, you could say that about any single player that comes up through the draft system, right? You base it on what you've seen them performing at the college level.
Super chat.
Did it again.
Ready? The master.
Super chat, reverse chat. Here we go, Mr. Roger Delaney did it, Mr. Tap. A great super chat of the Hockey Nation Show. Thanks so much to contribute at the Hockey Nation Show. Mr. Roger Delaney has always been with the Hockey Nation for many years. And watch my video every single day, Mr. Tap. He comments on every one of them.
Yes.
And a great supporter. Maybe the oldest person in the Hockey Nation as a member. So Roger Delaney, again, delivery, and we're really grateful, thankful to this for the Hockey Nation and the App Nation. Mr. Otap, sorry to cut you
Roger.
about that.
No, Roger's young at heart. That's what you have to say, Coach. Not that he's
Yes,
the
exactly.
oldest.
That's what I was thinking about this, Mr. Otap.
Of
Thanks to
course.
correct me.
And yeah, and I was just saying, I mean, you have to look at it. It's a rebuilding situation, and nothing is done. Like anybody that says I can come in and do it in 3 years is deluding themselves and everybody else around them. They're not being genuine about the situation. So this is a process. Like I said, we still have some contracts that need to be taken care of on this team before we get at any level that is competitive. So it's going to take 3-4 more years from here before we're at the stage where we can compete on a very consistent level. Now, along the way, as you said, yes, we're building up a lot of draft picks. We're building up prospects. We're drafting well. We're making some decent trades along the way. Of course, we're taking chances as we're going through it, but it's things that develop, and they develop slowly. That's why many of our shows we've said you have to have patience. You can't expect results on a day-to-day basis. Now, along with that, and sort of answer, I think, Patrick's question earlier on that I saw in the chat, it's not only about the results. Like if you have a player that's getting you 90, 100 points, but is a rotten apple on your team and is preventing others from sustaining their maximum ability, then that's a negative thing in my eyes. So they're working towards these kind of intangibles. What character do you bring to this team? What's your willingness to want to stay in the city and play for this team? And we've seen that the kind of players that they selected over the last couple of years are ecstatic about being here. And you don't hear that too much about players that are drafted by teams that are at the bottom of the league. But they're not stupid. They also see through their agents that these are, in Montreal's case, this is one team that's working towards doing the rebuild properly, and it's something that they will definitely take care of. So I wouldn't say Martin St. Louis is upset or he's not happy. As a matter of fact, I would say quite the opposite. He's getting happier every year. I think his job is to instill that sense of wanting to win, whether it makes the playoffs or not. He doesn't care, and he's also going to make sure that the players are developing properly along the way. So it's, to me, it goes hand in hand. There's a number of things that you have to put together, and again, I always end off with this. At the end of the day, you have to have lady luck on your side as well, that the development goes as you expect, that players don't get injured, that everybody stays within that mindset of the structure of the team, and in terms of the comparables on the team when it comes to pace, salary structure. Because as soon as you start pumping some players up at 11 million, 12 million, 13 million, that's when you start getting yourself into trouble. And we're seeing that, with teams like Toronto that are slowly working themselves out of the time frame of winning a Stanley Cup.
Well said, Mr. Otap. Every time we talk about a subject, Mr. Otap, you have a purpose behind everything, right?
Always, yes.
So we have another subject to follow that, Mr. Otap. Martin St. Louis is not happy.
Hot seat.
It's the time, Mr. Otap, the debate.
Okay, let's
between
debate.
you and me. And you're going to give us the debate is about trade or not trade. And what you just said, Mr. Otap, go exactly what you're going to tell us about the debate now between Montreal Canadiens should trade or not for the upcoming couple of weeks, a month before the season start, or they have to wait for the next year. So give us a bit more your opinion about this, Mr. Otap, and then I'm going to follow and try to tell you if I'm agree or disagree with you. And we know why you talk about this, because we have a conversation a couple of days ago, me and Enortap and Marco, about that situation. So, Mr. Enortap, you are on the hot seat at the Hockey Nation, sharing with us what do you think about this.
Well, when we talked about it at the time, it was in regards to one of the rumors that was out there, a very strong one as well, in terms of trying to get Rucker McGroarty out of Winnipeg and coming to Montreal. And it seemed like the offer that Montreal had put in was to offer next year's first, which is the Calgary pick. They offered either Harris or Barron and Philip Mazar. I know you weren't in favor of it, but I thought, you know what? When you look at somebody like a Rucker McGroarty, I mean, you're picking up somebody that's 6'1", 200 pounds. I mean, of course, he hasn't been at the NHL level yet, but it's the kind of player, the prospect that you bring in at the right time, because at the age of 20, I believe he fits in perfectly with the group that we have established right now. He's the kind of rugged winger that who, by the way, has also played some center. I believe when he was with the U.S. National Development Team, and so you want players that can, I believe, can play a combination of either center and wing. And because if you got two centers on the same line at times, that's always a positive thing. Think of our national teams when we put together some of our best players. If you look at each line, there's at least two centermen on that team. Why? Well, because of the advantage that it gives you in terms of winning faceoffs at the right places, whether it's defensive or offensive zone on the right or on the left side. They're usually more responsible defensively as well. They have, the capability to see the ice very, very well. So if you can pick up a player like that, I think it's a step in the right direction. And I think what they're trying to do this year is they're trying to solidify that second line. Like they hopefully have that first line addressed. So that second line where if you could put, let's say, Kirby Dach with right now probably Joshua Roy, and you bring in a Rucker McGroarty, you're bringing in size. You're bringing in three guys that can score, they can pass, they can skate, and you look at Dach and McGroarty, and they can be used interchangeably, either on the wing or on center. So, is it a bit of a high price? Possibly, but that's why you accumulate the assets you do along the way when you're rebuilding, so that it comes a time like this, you can package that together and make this kind of a trade. So for me, I would do that if I were Hughes.
It makes sense for what you just said, Mr. Top. Nothing wrong with your assessment about that. For me, I would say I disagree. And why Montreal Canadiens? Because I still believe they have other direction they need to do. First of all, for the upcoming year, they still have a ton of players of the final year contract. We talk about Savard, the defenseman. We talk about Armia, RHP, Devorak. They are a couple of players with the final year contract. They have to get removed after that for the upcoming year. This year, Mr. Enortap, is another year to looking for what they look like, the player. Kirby Dach, New Hook, example. Sakoski, another evaluation players to see what they look like. On defense, Mr. Enortap, we have a ton of defensemen to have to look. And then we have to look about other players are already in Laval, how they're going to develop. And 1 year, we're going to have a better overview of what it look like or asset. The next couple of shows, we're going to talk about the value of what is the value of Caden Cody, example. What is the value of Logan Mailloux? They're still not sure, Mr. Enortap, because they still develop them. They still to improve them. They have an idea, but maybe they can make a mistake. I think Montreal Canadiens will be more benefit to wait 1 year to go through what they have right now, what the play they have. Also, my question, it would be for you, it would be if you bring that kind of players, Mr. Enortap, and it will be on the top 6, right? We have to add now Demidov on the top 6. And the way he deal with the Winnipeg Jet new subscriber, Trevor, welcome in the house.
Welcome,
Mr.
Trevor.
Tap, he requests time play. He requests different things he want to do. He need to be a part of the Winnipeg Jet. That's friction.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, Mr. Tap, all the time, I'm 50-50 with those kind of requests or what the people said about that, what kind of player is. Because I don't believe those kind of, the rumor, the player requests this, he want this, everything like that. But at the end of the day, Mr. Tap, I would prefer the Montreal Canadiens have a better asset with Kaden Cooley and any other players and to make a bigger trade to bring a bigger players to be sure is a top 6 in NHL. Said that, I don't know name. Yes, I don't know if we are going to have another Martin Necas next year in NHL. We have maybe a player not happy somewhere and he can play, he can score 25 goals, 30 goals. I said for me, and McCordy, he will never reach the total of 25 goals in NHL. He's more a playmaker. He's more a bottom third line players. He's not on the top 6 on my book right now. He's going to be a solid third line player in NHL. And we have many of them. What we need is a next level. A player can score 30 goals, can play minute on the power play. He can play on the second line. If something happened to the first line, we patch up that guy up over there. Said that, I think Roger, he can bring a great role in the playoff time. I can understand that. But when I see him, I see a Sam Bennett, in my opinion, style. A player can score point, a 50 goal, a 50 in NHL, but limited on the offensive side of his game. I want more. I want better more. Montreal Canadiens is on top. Select number 5 next year. We can get Michael Misa in the NHL draft. Now we talk about another top 6. We cannot put 20 forward on top on the top 6. We have only 6 spots over there. Some will be unhappy.
Yeah.
And I think Mick Roddy is not going to be my top 6 players. He will be very bit disappointed. He's not there. And he will be limited because he's not going to be on my power play. I have Demidov, Sarkowski, Zuski, and Caulfield. Could be that, could be removed on the power play now. So for me, I need more. I need bigger. It's not good enough for him. And the player, we don't know yet how he's established. I would prefer Montreal Canadiens looking at trade like at 23, 24, 25 years old, RFA next year, and he's not happy. And he produced already 25 goals at 26, 27 goals. That would be my assessment. That's the reason I disagree with you about that. I will not touch him, the Jet Winnipeg players. Or at least I need someone is show to me is a Craig McDavid example, Mr. Tap. This would be now talking about. This McDavid at 22 years old, he's going to be your top 6 players. He's going to bring sometimes the grits you don't have right now in your lineup. That would be that kind of trait I was looking for. Until we don't know the value of who we have in our hands. I still have 1 more year to develop them, to see the improvement, or maybe regression, and then you can open up. During the time it's on top, you're going to know what Owen Beck is going to be. You're going to know exactly what Lane Austin, Ray Barker, Mayu, and Ekstrom. That will give you a bit more an idea that open up more the vision of what now we can trade that player because we have a backup, a plan B can pick up his guy with that. And that will be my suggestion. Yes, people want to trade Mike Madison, Mr. Top, but he's not going to give you that kind of players. You need a young prospect in your organization. We'll talk about value a little bit later. But this is what I see that, and that's the reason I debate with you about that one there. That shot is flying, Mr. Top. I don't see what's going on, but I see that flying right there. The conversation.
I see it flying
but again,
too. But,
I'll give you another chance, Mr. Top. Respond to my my debate I just mentioned to you.
Yeah, I see your point, but I mean, if Demidov, for example, comes over this year, and again, these players, I don't see a red flag with McGroarty at all. I think we got to be careful here that we're pigeoning a lot of these players into a certain way of acting when not necessarily is it them, it's probably their agents that are reacting that way. And it wasn't McGroarty that was saying he wants to be on the second line and he wants to be on the power play. It was really Martin Necas from Carolina that was making, and his agent was making those demands. In McGroarty's case, he pretty much saw the writing on the wall in terms of Winnipeg. and he saw that, okay, nobody's leaving this team. I know Monahan and Toffoli are gone, but it looks like Perfetti has to be moved up at this point. He's earned that right to at least be a second line centerman or winger, depending on how they're going to use him. So where does that leave McGroarty, right? And it looks like Cheveldayoff is also the type of GM that doesn't like things dictated to him, which I can totally accept. And he wants them to stay in the minors one more year before with the university, either University of Michigan, I think he's with. So that's how they're coming to this point, and we're seeing this more and more, especially out of the USHL kind of players that are the NCAA players that are coming through the system as well. They want to burn that year of their contract so that they can start making the big bucks a little bit earlier than originally anticipated. But I don't see a problem with that. Like if as I was saying, if somebody like Demidov comes over this year, and let's suppose you have him either on the second line or you have him even on the first line, and you were to drop down, let's say, Caulfield on one wing, and you have Rucker McGroarty on the other wing, and Kirby Dach is centering them, are you kidding? You have a great second line there. I agree. He hasn't proven anything at the NHL level, but I think he's accomplished, pretty much what he can with the University of Michigan. So there's nothing left for him to
16
prove at
goals
that level.
and NCAA.
Yeah, but he has 52 points, coach.
Yeah, but he's a playmaker.
Games. Okay, that's good. And
okay,
guess
but
who needs
if you
to
put
score?
Dach, Newhook, and him, who scored 35 goals?
No, I didn't say Newhook. I said you drop down Cole Caulfield if Demidov comes up, and now all of a sudden you got who needs to score the most on this team? It's a pure goal scorer like Cole Caulfield. And so
but again,
why
you're
not have a
willing to give
playmaker?
a chance. You don't know if he's going to be that kind of players. That's my point. I want to get him out in the chest where I know exactly what he looked like. He did it. He proved it.
I know, but the players that we talked about won't get that deal done. That's the thing. I agree with you.
I'm talking about an example.
I like McTavish.
I will give you an example. The Florida Panthers trade Vincent Trocheck to the Carolina Hurricane. Trocheck was a great hockey player for them, right? And return, they got 5 players in return with asset. But they not give a big name. The best player they got right now for that one is only Listerinen is still there. Wildman is out. Piskey is out. They got also Eric Ola is out. That was the best. It was Eric Ola in return for Vincent Trocheck. But they established a player, Mr. Tap. For me, this is what I'm looking for. It's a top 6 in NHL between 22 years old to 26 years old, and he can stay on the top 6 center winger. And that would give me, if ever something happened with Kirby Dach, I have really a good player can pick it up there. This is the year Montreal Canadiens, if they want to do this, is only in 2025. Until then, I wait. And I select Mr. Enortap, Michael Misa, McQueen, or the Fundell for Sweden. This better at Mr. McCarty. This is why I wait. I'm on the patient card for 1 year. Let the young development. I will know exactly what Kaden Coley he looked like. Vincent with Lane Hudson and more. I'm talking about the young prospect. And from that, I will have a better chance to have a better asset in my hands to get something bigger at what you're talking about, and without knowing he's going to get that kind of player. It's like for me, Mr. Enortap is exactly what Michael Edge is with Montreal Canadiens. Michael Edge is going to be what, Mr. Enortap, in the NHL?
He's going to be a second liner.
How you know that?
Center. Well, again, it's based on what we're projecting and what we've seen him perform so far. So even the players that you bring up that could be drafted next year, you can't go through a year or 2 years thinking
top 5, top 7 versus a 15, a 21 overall pick. The chance of those players are successful in NHL it's double chance.
Yeah, it's possible. Of course it is, but it doesn't always materialize either, right? And in terms of the other players that you mentioned, you're still going to have
I'm going to give you a little
the
bit more, Mr. Enortap.
opportunity.
I'm going to go a little bit more deeper. That pick you're talking
Okay,
about from Montreal Canadiens in 2025, right? It's 6, 7, 8, 9. I would
it's protected.
no, for the Montreal
It,
Canadiens, I would take that one. I can add another prospect, Montreal Canadiens, high value, and I can get a big name in NHL. I don't have no name right now, but you can get a big trade
okay.
to get that kind of player. Now you get your top six over there, better at what you have right now with McCarty.
Okay, I'm not opposed to that if you can put together the right package and get that kind of player this year. But what team is willing to give that kind of player up? Like you brought up McTavish earlier.
I will give you
Are
one.
they really willing
I will
to?
give
Are
you
they
one right
willing
now.
to give up McTavish?
The Calgary Flames on top are going the right way on the downside right now.
I don't know. They're still in disarray in my
If they have
eyes. I
another
don't
bad
think.
year, Mr. On top, they will try to make maybe another downside of the game. They maybe go that one. I was looking maybe to give them a two-player for Cherakovich example. This is the type of play I'm talking about. A team right now are going to go in that direction. They still have every year, Mr. Tap, they have 1, 2, 3 teams are going down. Every year. They have no choice. They have to go to make a decision. Always have one team going to say, you know what, we're going to rebuilding. And they're going to give up a couple of players. I don't know which team I'm talking about, Annette. We're not there yet. But still, this is a kind of the deal I will do for Montreal Canadiens next year and 2025 because this next year I know it's a roster construction. Yeah, I know now thinking about we have to rebuild. It's a roster construction. You cannot have Martin Saint Louis another year with Anderson, Gallagher, Armia, Dvorak, and the RDP and Peseda.
He won't. He
He
won't.
needs Demidov. He needs another top six forward in NHL.
Yes.
Montreal Canadiens
Yes.
2025, 2026.
I totally agree.
You have Sakaski, Caulfield, Suzuki, Kirby Dak, Demidov, and boom, that player I'm talking about. And then you have
Right.
a bottom
But
six. You can right now Owen Beck. You say Anderson, Gallagher. I understand that. But then you have the young kids coming now in the deal. This is what I'm thinking for the Montreal Canadiens.
yeah, of course that's it. But I think that they made it quite clear, and they mean both Hughes and Gorton, that they were going to try to solidify that second line, right? That makes Martin St. Louis a little bit happier. If you want to go back to our previous theme, it brings in a player that is going to help the team as well. Now, it doesn't have to be McGroarty. I mean, we were reacting to that possibility and saying, would you make this trade if it was presented to you? I would make it at the time. Now, if you want to wait a year so that you properly evaluate, I mean, I think they're two independent topics here. Like, you can still see how your team is evaluating, even if you pick up McGroarty. Like, you're not going to, he's not going to be signed to a long-term contract right off the bat. It'll probably, he has to wait a couple years before that happens anyways. So you're still going to see what you have in the system. You're going to see where you finish in the standings. If you draft well, or if a better player presents himself, Sharagovich, as we were saying. But, again, I ask you, is Anaheim going to give up McTavish? Is Calgary going to give up Saragovich, or however you pronounce his name?
And I want to give Zegras example.
Well, and ask yourself why that's the case.
Right? So
I would not want
my point of view, Mr. On top, I don't said any year you have player on the trade market. Every year they have player.
Okay.
Look what happening. Casey the Middlestad got trade for BRM. That's happening in the middle of the year.
Yeah, of course.
So
of course it'll happen.
I don't know which one's going to be on the market, but my point, you have better you can get during the season. And I can go all the way like that. I was talking about Middlestad. There are no players, got young players, got trade during the summer. And that's what
But
I'm thinking
coach,
about, to add another good, solid player for the Montreal Canadiens, top six, and it can be
yeah.
uh, a better evaluation for the Montreal Canadiens. I'm still not sure which defenseman you want. Can you trade right now? Is guarantee is not going to become better in the next 3 years, Mr. Introductory.
And that's exactly my point I was going to try to make right now is the fact that this trade is made also with the purpose of understanding that they have a lot of accumulated draft picks. They have, and next year is an excellent year. Like I think when you look at their first, second, and third for the next 2 years, actually, they have I think 7 picks in the first 3 rounds, if I'm not mistaken.
They have seven.
And
They have
so
7 picks, Mr. Introductory, the next year. 2 first, 2 second, and 3 third.
yeah, I'm not even looking at the thirds. I'm assuming, okay, that doesn't work out. I'm just looking at first and second over the next 2 years. A lot of picks coming in. You also have a lot of draft picks that you've already accumulated, prospects that you need to properly evaluate. So taking the team to where they are today, and I think that that's the important thing, right? How do you make this year's team a little bit more competitive? Well, first of all, what are you going to do with your defensemen? Like, what are you going to do with Harris now? Because if we're looking at the defenseman, we're going to be stacked. Like, you're not going to be able maybe to bring up a Hudson. You might not be able to bring up Mayu because you still have Harris to contend with. Yes,
But
they
that's
got rid
okay.
of
We're not in a
Kovacevic.
rush, Mr. Introductory, to bring them right now yet.
No, but then you won't be properly able to evaluate him, is what I'm saying. Whereas I would like to see Hudson
But I can
maybe come
evaluate
up
them
this
in
year.
Laval Rocket, Mr. Introductory.
Not the same thing. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing as
But I
being with the
cannot play
major.
Mayu and Hudson and Rebecca on the same year at the same time.
No. Reinbacher, I wouldn't bring up,
So
but I
if
would
you
bring
want
up
to do the
Hudson.
way you do this, Mr. Tap, it's easy. You have Jekai, Strubble, and then you have Rebecca, Hudson, and Mayu. They're all exempt waiver. Bring them for 1 month, and then another one over there. If you want to go that direction, you can do that. That's not a problem.
Yeah,
Then
that disrupts.
you
That
cannot
disrupts
trade enough defensemen because you never know what could happen. My point again, bring back again. He said wait next year, and you can see what Harris he look like, and then you can trade him during the season. Because now you say, you know what, we can now open up a deal because now we know Rebecca is ready to play with Montreal or X player is going to ready. For me, I will go that way, and that would be the reason we not trade yet Harris right away. That's the reason they open up Kovacevic, but I will wait a little bit more longer to see what we look like. Imagine you have an injury for Madison and Coley right now.
I know we could say that for everybody, right? Like,
but that's my point. You keep there, be patient 1 year, and then next year, during the season, you can open up more spot for the players when you make a trade. For me, I will not do any change right now on Montreal Canadiens roster because that's what we are.
None whatsoever. So if Anaheim said I'm willing to trade you McTavish, then you wouldn't consider it.
I'm sorry again?
If Anaheim came to you today and said I'm willing to trade you McTavish, what are you willing to give me?
I would be very cautious because if I give Cooley, I don't know what Cooley looked like. This is why that's the reason why Ken Hughes are really limited at the move. When they trade Romanov, they knew exactly what Romanov looked like. And they knew Cooley can pick up his spot. I don't know what evaluation of Montreal Canadiens. I said always Cooley, guys, because I believe Cooley has the highest value on Montreal Canadiens defenseman, in my opinion. This is the reason I thought Cooley. I don't say they want to trade him. I don't say they should trade him. But if you want to get a plus, you have to give something in return. But I'm willing to trade more Joshua Mr. Enortap, to get Cooley. The value is not the same. But Joshua Roy, guys, we're going to get many Joshua Roys coming. Michael Edge, Demidov, the next NHL draft pick 2025. We have those kind of players. To get something, you can patch up right there. For me, I will wait 1 more year, Mr. Tap, and then next year, I will know exactly what they look like, my defensive, like Kaden Coley, Jekai, those kind of players that we're a little bit older. Justin Barron, example. I already see exactly what he looked like. Those 3 defensemen I just mentioned to you, that will give me a little bit more. That will give me also see what it looked like, Lane Hudson a little bit, Rebecca, and Mayu. Not many at the full time, at the full ice ceiling, but I get a better idea. That would be my plan, Mr. Enortap.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with your thinking. Again, I'm more reacting to the question. If you had that trade on the table, would you consider it? And I would, because it opens up some space for some of the younger defensemen, and that's where our clot really is right now. We have, like, if you look at the defensemen, you got Matheson, you have Gouldy, you have Harris, you have Jackeye, all on the left side. And then on the right side, you still have Savard, you have Barron, and then in the minors, you got Mayu, and you have Reinbacher, Hudson, Struble. I mean, you can even throw Trudeau in that equation, although I don't think he makes it. But who else is coming up the system? You got Engstrom to worry about. You got Bogdan to worry about. He's coming up as well. So if it got rid of one of your problems in this case, which was either Harris or Justin Barron, now I think we've kind of seen enough of Justin Barron to sort of say, this is where I think this player will go. I don't think he's reached the ceiling. I think from an offensive perspective, he's got a lot he can contribute. If he can somehow tighten up his defensive game, he's going to be an excellent right-handed defenseman that is in our system. But again, then you're going to have this big clot of players, and you're going to have to make that trade at some point, right? Maybe it's not this year. You're right. Maybe it's next year, and we'll have to wait and see, or the year after, for that matter.
Yeah, I'm sorry about this, Mr. Tap. I just insert to Patrick. People talk about Dak and Romanoff, Mr. Tap. Pay attention, guys. Romanoff was traded for the 13th overall pick. And the 13th overall pick is Nazar for Chicago Blackhawks.
Yeah.
That pick was traded for Kirby Dach. So when you take about Romanoff versus Dach, you have to be careful, guys. You forget the 13th overall pick is if Nazar. So if Montreal get Nazar versus Romanoff, who's going to be a best selection over there? That's the time we tell us, Patrick, you cannot evaluate a trade right away, right there. The time, the next couple of years, would give us an answer on that trade overall. So that one, Mr. Tap, we can go all night long talking about this. We have about 5 minutes to go, Mr. Tap. I'm going to finishing. I have to go with my pyramid and also my top 10, Mr. Tap.
Let's do it.
The pyramid would take too long to keep everybody here. We take about 10 minutes talking about that. So I want to go my top 10, Mr. Tap, and I want to hear from you what you think about my top 10 Montreal Canadiens. I select, Mr. Tap, Kapanen, Ekstrom, Beck, Mayu, Edge, Fowler, Roy, Rebacker, Hudson, Demidov. The people respond to me, Mr. Tap, on my video. It's maybe Miss Konishkov. It's really the one, honestly, people thinking over Engstrom. But most of the people are a little bit, what I said, maybe they move a little bit more Owen Beck, a little bit higher. But I just want to give give us maybe what you think about my top 10 right there.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to disagree with that. I would pretty much put him at that position as well. I mean, you can make an argument and interchange, the players that are there with the position, but overall, those are probably your 10 best. Of course, bringing up Konyushkov, Bogdan, that's something you have to worry about, and I think that there's room there as well. And of course, we're not talking about. Well, you put in Fowler, so that's I was going to say we're not talking about goalies, but I see that he is there, so that makes total sense to me. But yeah, it's hard to disagree with that, Coach. I think those are pretty much the top 10 that we're looking at. And I would ask you the following question. Of those 10, let's say 3 years down the road, how many of those 10 do you still envision being a Montreal Canadien?
This is a great question, Mr. Tap, when you talk about this. And because that will be another video, Mr. Tap, or another subject
I know.
about this. Because I walking about the template of the team, how Colorado did it, Dallas did it, Tampa Bay did it, Washington did it. I can go with the best team, successful team in the NHL. Toronto example, right? Where they go from rebuild to retool to get there, right? And I believe, Mr. Tap, the Montreal Canadiens are going to be a team from the inside out, not from the outside in. What are you talking about? Look about Philippe Panthers, Mr. Tap. When they win the Stanley Cup this year, they have Lundell, Barkov, and Spencer Knight, where he did not play, Mr. Tap. All the only
That's
three
right.
players, Sedek Ekblad, are the only three players, Ekblad, Lundell, and Barkov, drafted by the Philippe Panthers, and they are part of the Stanley Cup. Number 1, number 2, and 12 for Lundell. Spencer Knight was 13th overall pick, but he did not play any game. Bobrovsky was there. If you look about the Colorado Avalanche, Mr. Tap, they get those assets. And when they get those assets from Duchesne, Lesagag, Ratanen, McKinnon, McCarr, but they trade Duchesne and they trade Lesagag to get better players or to mold that player with their team. Does that make sense? So I can go with that team. The only team keep their players inside out is the Dallas Star. Ottinger is one of them. Ali, the defenseman over there. The Eskinen, 4th overall pick as the defenseman over there. Lendell, 23 overall pick. And the forward, they still have, I'm talking about their best. Jaken Robinson, 42 overall pick. Ottinger, the goaltender, 26 overall pick. And they have a bunch of the players they develop inside the organization, and they put their core for the team, and then they add after that the Jimmy Benn, and they add Tyler Seguin, and they get Joe Pavelski, everything like that. For me, Mr. Tap, I believe, and it's not the right answer because you're asking me a 10. I wouldn't be surprised, Montreal Canadiens, on that list you have, maybe 4 of them are going to be with Montreal Canadiens at long term. That was my prediction, maybe 3, but I feel like more 4. I can see a defenseman like Hudson, Rebacker.
Yeah.
I can see the Demidov at the top over there. I can see a Jacob Fuller over there. That's give you 4 right there. After that, Roy not there.
And Hage, I would think too.
Hage, I would think he would use them as a trade at some point. He is going to have a great value. And then Beck, Kapanen, I would say Beck will be maybe there, not Kapanen. And the rest is Engstrom and miss one right there. I don't think he'll be there. So this is what I see. This is the pipeline, guys. That's including now Suzuki, Coley, Caulfield, Sakaski. That's 4. That's 9 of them. This is a huge number, Mr. Tap, to go all the way to be a really good team in NHL to get all those picks over there. And we don't talk about the 2025 pick, maybe a top 7 there. This is what you have to do. So the roster constitution is coming very soon, but this is going to happen with the Montreal Canadiens. That's what I feel that way with that. You cannot win what you got inside. So you build, you develop. And the reason I said, Mr. Enortap, I really go inside out, because they really focus on the inside. Look what they have, player development. They have maybe one of the top best player development coaches in NHL. Adam Nicolas, Scott Pellerin, and I can go all the way like that. They have 5, 6 players. The scouting they have right now, they are all over the map. The way they follow up with the players, how they develop them. This is the reason why they're going to go from the inside to go outside. That would bring them the controlling more the template of the salary cap, Mr. Enortap, for my opinion. I think there will be a way I feel like Montreal is going to be really more cautious about this. This is my opinion. I would like to hear from you, and the people in the chat are on fire, Mr. Enortap. 75 likes so far, Mr. Enortap.
No, you're absolutely right about what you said, Coach, and that's what a total rebuild is all about, is that you build from the inside and then out. But I mean, the optimistic thing that I see right now, like you mentioned about 4 players, I can possibly see 6 that will stick with the team. Maybe I'm being a little bit more, optimistic about it. But you look at also, they just recently did the hockey prospecting. I think it was, they did the NHL team prospect pool strength, and Montreal ranked 3rd in terms of the prospects that they have right now in top 10. So right just behind Chicago and Anaheim, I believe it was. So, these players will have to be obviously willing to take the next step. They have to be, yes, Patrick, they will have to be accountable in order to make the team. I don't think anybody assumes that they're just because they're a first round pick that they're just going to play on the first line or on the second line or on the first pairing defenseman. Of course, they have to translate that to NHL numbers down the road. But it's something that I think is, if we tie it in, Coach, with what you said earlier, and the big question mark is Martin St. Louis happy? I think he's ecstatic. I think when he looks at this and he looks at what he's got, and now he even has got himself that elite player, and he knows that inside they're going to have to at some point make that big trade. So you'll have more than one elite player at some point in the next 3 or 4 years. I think this is a team that's going in the right direction, and we just need to be patient and see this out.
One thing you have to remember, Mr. Introductory, is yes, I know how you think about Martin St. Louis, but he's a winner.
Yes.
And when you're a winner, you're not really patient, right? You have some kind of different mindset wire about the way you see the game, the way you hate the losing game. He can understand the situation, but what he got in front of him, he tried to win every game, Mr. Introductory.
Yes.
He tried his best, and he does better at what he's supposed to do because the lineup is not great. So for me, this is why he's not happy about is the fact, like, if I could have one player right now, I could make that team again better because he have the passion about this. He's a winner. He have the DNA inside of him. That's what he feel about him. So yes, I can understand your point of view, but still, for him, it's not good enough. It's not enough. The winner is never enough. They try to reach the perfection, and in life, you have no perfection. But every time you go forward, you try to become closer at the perfection. And for him, this is the reason I said he's not happy right now. He understands, he develop, they progress, they improve, and they get better. This is what he's targeting, and that's what encourages him to be still positive. But for me, he would like to get another one sit on the bench to get better right now, this year, for upcoming.
I agree.
He doesn't want to tank. He doesn't want to lose. He doesn't want to be at the bottom in NHL. He's a winner. And those winners are special specimen and the
Specimen.
hockey and the sport. And
Yeah,
that's what I feel
yeah.
like is Martin St. Louis. But a great point what you just said. I agree with you about that.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. And that's why I don't think the big focus should be, we need one more year finishing in the bottom 5. I mean, if it happens, then you're getting that bonus, hopefully. You might even win the lottery, who knows? But if not, Martin St. Louis, and the players that they have because of the character that they've sought out of these players, they're not going to want to lose a game. These guys are going to be out there, and they're going to be out there to win every single night. The key will come into play when they are very competitive, because then they have to escalate their game to the next level, because teams aren't going to take you very lightly, right? They're going to come in and they're going to be well planned to try to defeat you. So now at that point, are they able to take the game an extra notch up to the level that's needed to perform on the top 16 rather than bottom 16.
Yeah, the time we tell us. I want to finish the show, Mr. Introductory, still over delivery. That's okay with me. A lot of people in the chat, I think we are fired up about that one there. I will say one more thing about the Montreal Canadiens. The people said Jekai or Mezar or Beck or Kapanen or those player guys. Yeah, always to be realistic. Example like Florent Jekai, right? Yes, he showed something last season. But can he continue to growing the next level? Can he perform the next level at the American Hockey League? Can he become dominant? Can he become the player you're looking for? He have the size, Florent Jekai, but he still have a lot of work to do. And you always to be a little bit more realistic at the hope or excitement about the players when you talk about the prospect, Mr. Introductory. For me, it's a long process. And yes, It's fun to see Florent Jacquet, what he scored 33 goals last year. It's fun to see him join the Laval Rocket. But still, Mr. Enortap, yeah, it's a big, three-time big step from the who is Ronald Jacquet and what he can be in NHL, Mr. Enortap. Only the time.
Yeah.
But when you draft 110 or 4-round pick, Mr. Enortap, and you have a reason behind that. And because you don't have the skill and you don't have the talent yet to get there. But you can develop them. You can become that kind of players. The Montreal hope he can, and around maybe 20 pick between second round pick to the 5th round pick are maybe going to make the NHL. This is what happening there. So it's not like 6 of them, Cuivo or Sawyer or Thorpe or a Roller or Guindon last year, 2 years ago, and all those people, right, are not the chance to make NHL. Most of them are never going to get there. But we can hope, and we can hope those players one of them can reach NHL. This is how the NHL draft is set up. This is how it works. Development. That's
Absolutely.
what I said. Inside out, the Montreal Canadiens have every tools to develop their players. They will see what they look like in the next couple of months. And this is the reason this year is another year of the development to clean up the house. When I say clean up the house, the contract with one final year contract. And then if you get a trade, 2 trade right there, but don't make a mega trade. At least they know, the Montreal Canadiens organization, better of who we are, what they look like, the value of each player. They know exactly what Coley is compared to what we think he is, right? Because they have the data, they have the personal expert inside the team. That's what I feel the Montreal Canadiens. So I don't know. We have a lot of people in the chat, guys, talking right now, left and right. And it's great to see each one of them.
Are off.
We passed the 80 likes tonight. Over one of the people likes. The next show, guys, going to be Wednesday night for the Montreal Canadiens. Can we get one between them? Watch your notification because I'm going to maybe bring one on one night about the NHL, and then we're going to carry on that one there. So don't forget, guys, to join us Wednesday night. Marco Larrabee is going to be with us. We have a special guest on top. It's Gregory Lemay. Yeah. So Gregory create a special video about Demidov. He was viral on the internet. And I'm going to bring him and talk about this. He's a student at UQAM. And then he's also write article about the Montreal Canadiens. He's a young man, 22 years old, 23 years old. He wants to make his name on the map. And then I think it will be great asset to see Gregory with us Wednesday night with Marco. Another great night of the Montreal Canadiens. So during the month of July, guys, we guarantee you 2 shows per week. The Wednesday and the Sunday night until August. When the hockey pick it up, we're going to bring more show about the Montreal Canadiens, and then we're going to go back normal. But until then, guys, we all just, a little bit quiet like everybody. Everybody deserves to have your time. And yeah, anyway, other channel you can go every night and on top. But you're always one place to talk about the Montreal Canadiens. But the best place is on top is when you are the house with me talking about the Montreal Canadiens because you bring a lot. And that's the reason, Mr. Enortap, we call you what, Mr. Enortap? Yes,
we bring
are.
Passion.
You are awesome.
No,
you are
the coach,
amazing.
The GOAT.
You are the best. And remember, you have greatness inside of you.
What a great name, Mr. Enortap. Roger Delaney, the super chat of Montreal Canadiens. Enortap as a co-host tonight. And we have a moderator, Jose Duarte. Good luck for your surgery tomorrow. Luciano and Ron with Kings. A couple of people, many people in the chat. Nicolas Debonnet, Dougoubi Bono, back in the house from France. And we have a new subscriber, over 4 new subscribers tonight. And we have many people, guys, in the chat. Without you, this channel would be not impossible to be existed because you bring some great knowledge for many of you talking about the Montreal Canadiens. Until next time, Mr. Enortap, we give you the last word of what you're thinking could happen with Montreal Canadiens in the next couple of weeks.
We're going to bring McGroarty home. No, just kidding. We're going to hope for a great 2024. That's the important thing.
That's exactly that. Until the next time, Mr. Enortap, be well, be healthy. Find a way not only to donate your day, but find a way to donate the second half. One, Mr. Enortap.
You're 2024.
He did it again. Have an amazing, great night, Mr. Enortap. I will see you next time. Have a good night, Mr. Enortap.
Coach. Good night, Hockey Nation.
Mr. Enortap join us every Sunday night talking about the Montreal Canadiens. Wednesday night, of course, Marco is with me, and we're always a special guest. You guys, you rock and roll in the chat. People like Marc, Lick Lafortune, Willie Snyder, Nicolas de Goubi-Bonneau, RDP, and you know who you are. Patrick Lawhite, we wish you an amazing great night. Good luck for your Argentina tonight. And then Nicolas Yamo and so many guys. Make that shot great. I love to be back. I miss each one of you, and I can wait to see you until the next time. Of course, the Hockey Nation I Show want to remind you one more thing, sir. And the Habs Nation. We love you, friends. See you next time. Have a great night, a great week of July. Already July. Can you believe it? Oh. Booyah!